Barber Shop Podcast, episode number 73, coming to you live from Boxo Studio in the city of Hamilton, Ontario, the blast furnace of music. It's happening right here, right now in Hamilton, Ontario. Ryan Cannon, as always, a pleasure to be joining you in holy technology.
Yeah, tonight's a tech upgrade. So bear with us.
Yeah, you know, there could be a little bit of growing pains.
Yeah.
And
we're always growing here at
and we're always a
Boxo
pain
Studio,
too.
Home of Barbershop Podcast.
You know, and thank goodness, too, because they're starting to burst at the seams. People are rushing to get in here. You know, I'm looking forward. We got some projects coming up. I don't know if we can announce them yet, but
no.
Got some big names coming in here.
Let it keep, still a secret.
Yeah, it's stewing in the pot.
Yeah.
Speaking of pot, how are you feeling tonight?
Excellent.
Excellent is right. Okay, with no further ado, delay, I'd like to introduce tonight's guest. My pleasure, as always, to bring top-notch talent in here for us and for you to check out each and every week. And we've got Tia McGraff. And if you don't know Tia, you're going to learn a lot tonight. And Tommy Parham is the most amazing kind of storytelling, guitar playing, sidekicky guy that you're ever going to want to meet too. And so we're both going to learn a little bit about them. And we're going to hear some of their music, and you're going to be thankful for it. How you doing tonight, guys?
We're doing awesome. Thank you.
Good.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. We've been hearing so many wonderful things, and so our good friends Al and from the Acoustics and Cindy Dell sent us down here, and thank you for having us on the show.
Yeah, I'm big fans of both of those people. Pretty well everyone who's come in here. You know, I haven't had a week where I've cringed. You know, and it gets harder and harder each and every week to, you know, live up to the level of talent that's coming in here. So I like to start when I talk to the guests. Just an interesting conversation. It's music-centric. It's a little bit about your life and about your personal philosophy. But let's talk about it within the context of music.
Okay.
Where did it start?
Well, it's interesting because today I was having coffee with a friend of mine, and we were talking about she's thinking of giving her little girl piano lessons and getting a piano in the house. And I said, you know, that's where I started singing. My mom was a school teacher, and she would come home at the end of the day and sit down and start playing the piano. And she would teach me all these little songs, you know, when I was 6 years old. But my real influence came from my dad's mother, my grandmother, who came from Transylvania.
Nice.
And so she had a beautiful voice, and she sang over in the old country, and I had done theater in that. And so Christmas Eves, we would listen to Grandma Hofgraf sing, and she was just phenomenal. And that's really where it started. I started becoming influenced. And then in school, I started getting involved in musicals, did My Fair Lady and West Side Story, and then I won the Canadian Open Country Singing Contest, and that's where it really started for me. I was bitten by the stage bug, and
how old were you at this point?
I was 19 when I won that, and won a little cash prize and some recording time at a studio in Niagara Falls. So I bought a guitar down at Reggie's Music at the time, down here in Hamilton, and taught myself 3 chords and wrote a song and went to the studio, recorded it, and released it to the radio stations. The next thing you know, I'm on CBC.
And it really happened like that.
It did, really. In those days, it could, you know. And
Excellent.
Yeah.
Tommy, what's your story?
Wow. 12 years old, I just got into my head that I wanted to be a musician. I couldn't really figure out what at that particular point. I figured it was going to be a drummer. But then I was hanging around my friends. We went down to the music store. Drums, well, those are expensive. And they're a lot of pain in the butt to carry around.
Damn straight.
Yeah, the guitar looks pretty cool, you know. But at that time, I really couldn't afford one, so I mowed lawns like crazy and saved up my $40 to buy my first guitar from a friend who was getting rid of his, and I didn't know what to do with it. But I started hanging out with my friend in high school. He was taking guitar lessons, so I always just tag along with him and sit in the room with him and his buddy, and he was getting his guitar lessons, and we'd go back to his house afterwards, and he says, oh, what was that chord he was showing me? I said, he did this, you know, and I'd just play a chord, and he said, how'd you know that? And I said, I just watched him do it. And so I went home and just started picking up the guitar and started tinkering around with it. Then I realized I had all these really cool records. I'm going to start learning these songs. ZZ Top, you know, all my favorite rock bands back in the day. I just started learning all the songs off the records. And I taught myself how to play them. And I just had an ear to figure out the chords and things. And then I got to the point where I got obsessive about it and became a heavy metal rock guy.
This was down in the States?
Down in the States, all throughout the 80s. And 70s and 80s, I was in hard rock and metal bands. And then I got into songwriting and really wanted to hone that craft and moved to Los Angeles. And I was out there for about 9 years and got pursued by a producer from Nashville at the time who was producing Cherie Austin. And we developed a really big relationship on songwriting and eventually led to a publishing deal. And I had my first writing deal in Nashville, so I was one of the Music Row writers and writing songs for just about anybody and everybody, and that's where we met.
So what was the time frame, and what were the kind of quick events between that time when you're winning the contest at the age 19 and when you're like, I'm going down to Nashville because that's where it's happening. I want to meet these musicians and these producers.
That's a great question. I released a couple CDs up here in Canada and some videos, and was really doing well. I got some videos on CMT Canada and was climbing the charts and everything. But I never quite fit right into the country genre.
Yeah, I was going to ask, did you identify with yourself as country?
No, and at the time, I remember at the time too, everyone was seeking the big major record label deal. And they just didn't see me as being mainstream country, so I never got that major label deal. So I remember my dad was managing me, and at the time he said, "Well, why the hell don't you just start your own label?" And I said, "Well, you can't do that." And he says, "Why not?"
Why not?
So I set up my own independent record label when it wasn't even heard of yet, kind of thing, and called it Bandana Records. And so we started releasing on that, and then I got to a place where I felt I really wanted to pursue songwriting. I just love songwriting, and I felt, I'm just not sure if the country genre is where I'm at. And so I had also been out working with Randy Bachman out in Vancouver, doing some writing and recording with Randy. And so I made a couple phone calls, and I went down to Nashville and bumped into some friends down there, came back, and I was all set to move out to Vancouver and rent a place from Randy and just kind of work out there. And then he called me and said that the apartment had fallen through. His son needed it. So I said, well, you know what, maybe I'll just go to Nashville. So I moved down there, and it was probably the best thing I did for my songwriting and personally meeting Tommy as well. We met there, and my life really, I feel, began there. Just living there I was there for 8 years. And did a thing called writing up, where you deliberately seek bigger writers, like I wrote with Andrew Gold, and people like that.
Explain for the people who've never been to Nashville what it's like. My friend Craig said, it's like at 12 o'clock noon, they roll up the windows and up and down the street, and there's a 10 out of 10 band in every one of those places. And behind that, there's a recording studio. It's very competitive. You have to be really quite good to even. Yeah,
it's painful. Like when I first went into like Tommy went in, and he'll tell you his story, amazing story about going in with a publishing deal. I went in just a Canadian girl moving down there, and it was painful. And I remember, but I would just go up to people and say, "Can I write with you?" And so I was writing with Eddie Schwartz and Andrew Gold and these guys and Dan Hill, and I would just sit and absorb and listen and try to learn from them and contribute what I could, But I remember, I don't know what we can say here on podcast, but I remember the most painful thing was I'd been there a couple years, and I went into a publishing meeting. And the publisher says to me, "So you're Canadian?" And I said, "Yeah." And he says, "You know what we say about Canadians?" And I said, "What's that?" And he says, "Go the F home." And I was like, "Really?" And I think I got it at that moment that, you know what, this is kind of cool, but it's not where I want to stay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was brutal. Yeah, but awesome at the same time, like just wonderful.
Little boot camp action,
yeah.
Take it down
boot
there.
camp. And then Tommy has his own story about going to Nashville too.
Getting to Nashville, well, that was like I said, it was while I was out in L.A. I met Will Rambo, and he was one of the top producers in town at the time, and he got me into town. And an old friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours, had already started a publishing business down there, and heard that I was in town writing with these guys, these big hitters, and wanted to know how I did that. And I said, well, I was just at the right place at the right time, and they like what I do. So we spent the next about 6 months before I moved there talking about him signing me to his publishing company, and so while I was living in Los Angeles, we were working out this deal, and I didn't really know if I wanted it. I kind of did. At the time, I was working in a great company that had all the benefits, and I was making great money, and I was moving to a geographical place in the country in the middle of the United States where the humidity and hot in the summer. I hated that part. Hated it. I'm going to Nashville. Why do I want to do this? And I'm thinking, well, maybe this is the only shot I got at trying to do something with my songs. And I got the attention of some really key people, so let's not blow this opportunity. So we signed a deal, and I was one of a few people who told me that I was. It's rare to walk into Nashville with a deal in hand. It's usually a 5-year town. Nowadays, it's a 10-year town because publishing deals are hard to find, and I was lucky to walk in with a deal, and I immediately did what Tia was talking about. I sought after the writers that I was really impressed with, and who really got to me emotionally, and started writing with them, and just made those relationships. And now those writers are probably probably top 5 hit writers in Nashville, and so they're still friends of ours, and so making those relationships early were really great.
It pays its dividends in the long run. Well, we're going to get you to kick off and share a little bit of the magic, and then we'll hear the actual story about the first time you came together. While you guys are setting up and getting ready for that, I'm going to announce the nightly Crash Landing gift certificate giveaway. What we have here is a $20 gift certificate at Crash Landing. You can use to buy any number of fine pieces of merchandise, be it strings or sticks or picks or shirts or records, all kinds of neat stuff, or towards a larger purchase. They've got some great stuff in there. Say hi to Chris Crash or Suzanne Kirkwood. The proprietors are right there at Cannon, just west of Ottawa Street. All right, guys, anytime you're ready.
Floodwaters rising, just feel the roar. Floodwaters rising, hey, you on the shore. Walk on the water, walk on by faith. Floodwaters rising, feel the roar. Feel the roar. Don't turn away. Storm on the desert, waves in the sand. reckoning, day of reckoning. Don't turn away.
That day of reckoning that's coming. Wonderful, wonderful music from
Thank
Tia
you.
McGraff right here at Barber Shop Podcast. If you want to win that gift certificate from Crash Landing, tell us what our technological innovation of this evening is. You might be able to tell by looking at it. You might be able to tell by listening to it. How's that working for you there, Ryan?
We're getting there.
We're getting
You can
there.
also tell by going to our Facebook page.
You go to our Facebook
And
page.
you might as well like it while you're there.
Yeah, you know, we've got now, 420 likes.
420 likes. And
And
it's still at 420
It's
likes.
at 420.
Yeah.
So we
actually beat 420. You're 4 days early on getting the 420.
but it might still be around. But we want to change that. We're going to go to 10,000 likes in no time. And they're going to be real people. They're not going to be,
That's right.
Indonesian desk jockeys.
Yeah.
But they're going to be real music fans. You mentioned songwriting. And I'm a big believer in songwriting. It's why I do what I do. I believe it saved my life more than once. And it has a deeper calling. And I think there's a lot of, and like any writing, I'm not really into the shit that's out there. There's a lot of shit writing.
Yeah.
People are not writing for the right reasons. How do you feel? I mean, do you even think about how you write, or do you just write?
Oh no, I'm a lyricist by heart. I mean, Joni Mitchell, people like that have been my influence, and so lyrics mean the world to me. I mean, every word should say something and move the story forward. And Tommy and I've also had the opportunity to teach songwriting. We did some teaching at Fanshawe College last year, and the thing that we find is that structure seems to have just gone out the window. I mean, there's no lift, there's no choruses anymore. It's just kind of like just rambling.
Read my diary.
Yeah, read my narcissism, And that kind of scares me because, the great songs that stick around forever that anyone could cut, that anyone could record today, written in 1950 or 60, are they going to be sticking around, in another 20 years? I don't know. Or does that make me sound old?
No, it's a combination. It's a nuance, and I believe that the words, and they have to have those trick phrases, and they have to have those catch bits. And one of the great men of Hamilton, Joe Varga, who, Varga was a huge Hamilton metal band, still is. And from your past, one of his great lines was, a hit song is going to have more hooks in a tackle box.
That's right.
So do you find that your background in aggressive metal music is helping you now and when you write and how you play?
Well, I think it's always given me an edge because I think I'm aggressive about melodies and things. So when I was studying my guitar when I was young, I figured out, I don't know how it came from, I had an epiphany. I said, okay, I've got 30 albums sitting here, and there's maybe 1 or 2 songs off of each of these albums on the radio that I hear every day. Why aren't the rest of these on the radio? They're just as cool.
Yeah.
So I had to figure, there's got to be a reason. So I went and started dissecting the songs, what was on the radio and what wasn't. And I said, well, this one's got kind of a cool little pop thing.
What are the A&R guys
it just
listening to?
It made my ear kind of immediately attached to it. So I started studying hooks from all my favorites, Jackson Browne, Billy Joel, James Taylor, just playing the guitar that way. And then I would listen to my hard rock bands, Foreigner and like I said, ZZ, and just to name a few. Bon Jovi was a huge influence on me at the time, and he was
Richie
a master.
Sambora had lots of hooks.
He was a master at coming up with the melody hooks and things like that. And I figured out the melodies they were singing inside the chords. I would just automatically now I can do it secondhand because it's a well-tuned muscle that I have tuned in for the past 30 years, and I am a big stickler on grooves and hooks and just having something that just grabs your ear right off the bat.
Now, do you two write together?
Yeah.
All the
Okay.
time.
So do you write off of the hook, and so if that feels like something, I'm going to start writing words that feel like that music?
Sometimes
or-
she'll hear something I'm playing in the other room and she likes it and she has an idea that automatically hits it, or she said, I've got this idea I've been wanting to write, and what do you hear about with that kind of title? And I'm always have this thing in my hand, so I have 20 or 30 little riffs running at all times, and and we'll pick something that kind of fits it, and then kind of build it off that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your most recent CD. Why don't you tell me a little bit about it?
Break These Chains.
Break These Chains.
Yeah.
Where did you record it? What was the process? How did you get it done?
It was really a cool process. We started writing the songs, and I think it was like a collection of maybe a couple years worth of writing. We just started laying them down at home and to click track, which is what we do. We generally go in and just put them down, acoustic guitar, vocal with click track. And then we really built them up. Like we decided, we're really selective about this CD. And most of the recording, I think we did at our home. We some of the tracks we'd send off to Nashville and have our friends down there put tracks on and send them back. But a lot of them we did right in Ottawa. We actually took the pre-production to Ottawa and recorded at our friend's place there. And just did one of those, hole up for a week in the studio, kind of like this, and just had a blast.
Yeah.
And then we went to Austin and had it mixed, and then we came back and had Nick Balgona in Caledonia master it.
He does a lot of work around here.
Yeah.
I would say a good 60% of the people who come in here.
Yeah.
Jonathan Edwards up in Ottawa at Cardavae Studios, he and I did a lot of the instrumentation ourselves, and he's just a master guy
brilliant.
who knows all the instruments. He can play just about anything.
Yeah.
And he's very fluent on all of it. And he's also a great engineer, and he grabbed the opportunity he's always wanted to work with us, and we know him through a mutual friend that he's always done records for, but he's never worked on a record of our scale. He wanted to try something different because the majority of the people he works with, either rock bands or country, we're very progressive folk kind of thing, and he liked that whole instrumentation of just making it very acoustic.
And sparse.
Mm-hmm.
And I had my production ideas, and we talked a lot of things over, and he really brought a lot to the table, and once we got it all done, it was a project that we were all really proud of, and it's been getting probably to date, out of as long as we've been together, the most attention. People are always saying, "Wow, this is the direction."
Thanks.
Yeah.
What's the story behind the story of Nighthawk? That's the first one we're going to play.
Oh, I was going through one of those, what's it all about, really trying to find my voice again and trying to find, what direction I wanted to go in, if I even wanted to go in another direction, if I wanted to carry on. I was at one of those places in my life with music. And so I remember I was in the shower, and I'm just kind of crying and, and praying and whatever, and I got out and I thought, well, I'll go down and get the mail. So I walked outside and went to the end of the lawn, and there on the edge of our lawn was this bird who had been wounded, beautiful large bird, and at first I thought it was an eagle or something. So I went back and put her in the blue box, and so this whole thing progressed and into me trying to save this bird. And the next day, through a progression of people calling and giving me lines of where to call and try to get help, I finally tracked down a veterinarian, and she said, "Yeah, bring it in." And so I did, and they took one look at it, and they said, "Well, this is a common nighthawk, which is very uncommon in our area, actually. This is in Port Dover." And but she's probably not going to make it. She might have a broken sternum, in which case we have to put her down. And so I became very attached to this bird, and I just wanted to see this bird live. And they wouldn't let me come back and see it, and they wouldn't let me watch when they were going to let her fly. And so they finally did. They let her fly, and she made it. And I was really bummed out at the time that I didn't get to see that, but yet happy, this bird had survived. So in the meantime, I felt that I had found something within myself at the same time. It was really cool. So we were sitting down, and songwriters is, what they do is you take your idea and you try to capture it.
Yeah, something made you feel something. It's time to write a song about it.
Yeah, and like a photographer will take a picture, and so it lives forever. We write a song, And this was one of those ones, and it just brings tears to my eyes every time we play it.
And I had one of these great riffs that I haven't used in a long time that I had sitting in the back pocket, and I knew that it was going to fit the song perfectly because I heard all this great instrumentation. And when we got up to Ottawa, we had a fiddle player come in and really add some things to it. And Jonathan came up with this great Daniel Lanois ethereal guitar thing that just kind of just groans in the back, and it just fit this track, and then her performance on it was just astounding. Excellent. I think it was one of the only tracks that we kept.
The scratch vocal.
The scratch vocal that we kept.
The magic take.
Yeah.
It had the magic take in it.
Here
we couldn't beat it after that.
You couldn't.
We rented for $3,000 worth of gear down there and spent a week on it.
Yeah.
Couldn't beat it.
Not the first time it's happened.
Yeah.
Not the first time it's happened. Well, a little bit of magic right here for you at barbershoppodcast.com.
I'm looking up from a hard place, mercy on my soul. Feels like I'm caught in a wire cage. The twilight falls through my window, a shadow comforts me. A nighthawk diving, soaring, she's so free. Fly. Just yesterday I found you, wounded on the ground. Your feathers couldn't lift you. I heard you open your throat and feel an eerie tune. It broke my heart 'cause I felt just like you. Sing, Nighthawk, sing. Or try. How can we get so broken? We can't find our way until we touch another and feel their pain. God watches over small things. Mercy lifted you. I know you found your wings, and I will too.
Beautiful, just as you described it.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, sweet. And that's the kind of music. That's the kind of music that's available to you. It's out there on a regular basis. I mean, there isn't a week that someone world class doesn't come in here, and it's a struggle. But with things like Barber Shop Podcast, we are doing a live show right now that someone in Australia can be watching. I mean, that still blows my mind.
It's amazing.
It blows my mind. It's like here for, you know, a reasonable cost, you can do a show that's in high fidelity and high definition live around the world. Yeah. You know, the future's here. So we're doing our bit to get this kind of talent, this kind of music out, let everyone know, have an opportunity to see what they're missing, and show where they can get it. You know, people are on iTunes, you know, CD Baby. They've got videos out there. They've got shows we're going to talk about where you can see them live. I want to do a couple things. We've got a project. We've got a GoFundMe project. If you go to GoFundMe.com and put in Barbershop Podcast, or what we're calling Broadcast Revolution. It's independent media broadcast revolution, which is what it is. When I went, you would have to have millions of dollars to put something together to be in a little 50,000 watt station that would still only go 100 miles.
Now you just need dozens of dollars.
Dozens of dollars. And we've got them, but we need a few dozen more when we're constantly trying to upgrade and going into our own pockets. As big guys as me and Ryan are, our pockets aren't proportion.
Yeah, we have medium pockets.
We have
medium to low
large
pockets.
pants, but they don't make the pockets necessarily that much bigger.
And you know what? We've had a bit of help, and it's made a big difference.
It has made a big difference.
Got our secret. We've already mentioned it, right? It's the giveaway. We've got technology. Yeah, we've got better technology today. Yeah, and it's because of people helping us out. So,
and every week we hope to get something else that makes us a little bit better, makes it a little more professional.
We're getting there.
We're getting there.
We're gonna have a big studio, David Letterman style, Ed Sullivan Theater.
It will be true. Eventually, it will happen. You know it. You know it's going to happen.
For episode 345, I'm calling it right now.
Okay, 345. I got it down here.
The episode we're in the big theater.
Okay, deal.
All right, that's our goal.
Cool.
It's like 5 years.
This is so cool, though. The studio here.
It's got its own vibe, doesn't it?
Well, even if we get a big place, we're going to put wood paneling on the wall. Yeah. And the picture of Chris up in my booth, wherever I end up.
So, you know, in light of that, I want to give, again, a thank you to Mr. Glenn Brown. Glenn is a music teacher. He's a musician, a drummer in his own right. His wife is a wonderful singer, musician, and he's the publisher of the Greater Hamilton Musician magazine. And they have an online edition, and you can check it out online at greaterhamiltonmusicianmagazine.com. And he is putting out a yearly physical edition of the magazine, and yours truly, Kevin Barber, has a little piece in that one, a little testimony, a little obituary to Mr. A dear friend who passed away. Alex McDougall was one of the guests on Barbershop Podcast, and you know we've lost him in November, and he'll be dearly missed. But Glenn puts out a great publication, and he's got some that he's going to send to anyone. And this is anyone who watches later on YouTube, or anyone who's listening to us on iTunes right now, or on Stitcher Radio, and any number of the formats we're in. If you send Glenn Brown an email to Glenn at Hamilton. God, where are my glasses?
Yeah, you better get this one right.
HamiltonMusician.com. Glenn at HamiltonMusician.com.
There'll be links on the Facebook page and the WordPress page.
Yeah. But in case you want to do it right now, it's Glenn at HamiltonMusician.com.
There you go.
Mention Barbershop Podcast in the message and add your address, and he'll send it off at his expense right to your door. Got Lori Yates on the cover. And, of course, Lori Yates, Barbershop Podcast. Not to say that everyone's been on the show, but pretty well everyone has been on the show. And we're going to have so many people back, just looking forward to the future. Let's talk about the future. What do you got going on? What are you playing out in the next little while?
Oh, gosh. Well, we've got immediate future. Next Saturday, the April 26th, I believe it is, we're at the Artward Art Bar here in Hamilton. Okay. With our friend David Starr is coming up from Colorado. And he's going to be joining. He's Tommy's neck of the woods, and he's going to be joining us. And then on then the next night or the night before, actually, the Friday night, we're in Moonshine Cafe in Burlington.
It's Oakville, actually.
Oakville, yes, yeah. You're right. Yes. Yes.
Well, it's on the same road.
Yeah,
You just go an extra couple miles.
Same
How much
thing.
time we're on the road? It's just like, yes, thank you. And then May 2nd, Friday, May 2nd, we're in Brantford with the Acoustics, and that's going to be an amazing show. So,
Excellent.
Yeah, we're excited. And then from there, we're heading off to the UK for 3 weeks. 3-week tour of the UK.
Nice.
In May and June.
What parts?
All over. We're going to Wales, Glasgow, and then all over England. We've got just jam-packed 3-week tours, some BBC radio interviews lined up, and this is about our 5th tour over there, Tommy. And so we've got a great fan base over there. And then in July, we're down to California to do some more writing, songwriting, and then in the fall, we're just jammed. We're just all over the place. So it's going to be a great year.
It's going to be a great year
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be a great next couple minutes because you're going to play another tune for us live.
Yeah.
And while you get set up with getting ready to do that, I'm going to once again offer up the Crash Landing $20 gift certificate. Crash Landing $20 gift certificate. Get yourself something nice at Crash Landing. See Suzanne, see Chris, get yourself something. Tell us in a Facebook, you want the Facebook page?
Facebook message, barbershoppodcast@gmail.com, or go like the Facebook page if you haven't already.
Yeah,
I don't know how you're listening if you haven't liked the Facebook page yet.
Yeah, if something's wrong. Like, are you afraid? Is it going to hurt you? I don't think so. All right. Well, I know you're certainly not going to hurt us now. What are you going to do for us?
We just wrote this. We were just out in LA doing a songwriting session with our friend Kevin Fisher, and so we woke up the morning of the songwriting session and needed an idea, and our host was burning waffles in the kitchen, and he said, "Don't mind me, Tommy. I'm moving the smoke away." And I overheard this, so when we went into the session with Kevin, I said, "I got a line, moving the smoke away." So this is what we came up with.
Excellent. Right here, barbershoppodcast.com.
Just see it coming, there's trouble ahead. No use in running or trying to pretend. Sometimes there's fire to face at the end of the day. Try to contain it, but it's out of your hands. You're caught in the thick of your best laid plans. Best you can do is keep moving the smoke away. You gotta keep believing that you can keep on breathing when all you're seeing are ashes and flames. Keep moving the smoke away. Well, I've been on fire, hot glowing red, with a burning desire in my heart and my head. Take nothing for granted, love like we're all out of days. Regret is a fool's game, and I ain't no fool. Been learning and living by one simple rule: light the world up and keep moving the smoke away. You gotta keep believing that you can keep on breathing when all you're seeing are ashes and flames. Keep moving the smoke away. Sometimes you're stuck between matches and gasoline. Not a damn thing you can do but keep believing that you can keep on breathing when all you're seeing are ashes and flames.
And that's what we keep doing around here, Ryan Cannon, don't we?
Yes, we do.
We do. Move that smoke away on a regular basis. We're good boys now, though, aren't we? I mean, we're a shadow of our former self. I'm a bit embarrassed sometimes.
That's why I'm so fat.
Well, I got on the industrial scale today. That was a bit of a shocker. We
really did. We were on an industrial scale.
Oh,
we bought our technological advances from a big warehouse, and we actually got on an industrial scale, and we're both
way too fat.
Why torture yourself?
It was a long summer. Well, I avoided at the doctor's office for the longest time, and last time I was in, he just gave me that look, and he says, "You put on a lot of weight." It was a long winter. I was kind of depressed.
Yeah. Everyone's going to be facing that, I think.
Got some work to do.
Can't do much when you're frozen stiff.
That's it. Even the dog's fat because he's getting out. He's not happy. You know, my goodness.
And their fur doesn't know what to do. Our dog's shedding, and then it's like he's not, and then he's shedding. It's like up and down with the weather. It's terrible.
True.
Yeah.
It's true. So obviously music has been a great way for you to travel, get around the world, see so many different people. But musicians, I imagine, have a certain commonality. It doesn't matter where you go. What's kind of the message that music is the common thread everywhere?
I think it's, where we see it is in our fans. We hear these amazing stories, and, we write a bit different, like, outside the box a little bit, and we kind of lean towards a little more spirituality too sometimes. And as a result, we've had these amazing stories of, like one comes to mind where we were playing a festival, and this young guy comes up to the stage and he says, "Oh my gosh," and he says, "Yesterday I put a gun in my mouth, pulled the trigger, and it didn't go off." And he says, "I don't know why, but I come here today and I hear your music, and now it gives me testimony why I'm alive." Right. And when we hear stuff like that, that's what makes up for slogging it out as an independent artist, using GoFundMe to, which we did for this album. And so we hear what you guys are doing, and it is. But you know what? That is. I mean, we've had friends who've had the major record label deals, and some of the stories you hear about life on the road as a big star. And some of that doesn't compare with getting a story like that, told to you, and that our music touched a person like that, a human being.
When it transcends you, when something you created, leaves you and transcends you and has that effect, that's when it's worth it.
That's right. That's right.
And I think everyone has that in them. Not always writing, it could be any kind of, but there's a lot of hidden art out there. A lot of people who aren't fostered.
Everyone's talented at something. Everyone's got a talent, and whether you pursue it as a full-time career or whether it's something you just do on the side, maybe it's a gift. Something we did at Christmas time this year. Christmas Day, Tommy and I had the day to ourselves. We were spending the next day with my family, and so a friend of ours runs a church function on Christmas Day in Woodstock, and drug addicts, homeless, everyone's there, off the street having a dinner, and so we literally drove down and played at that, and we're up on stage, playing, and I'm crying, and people are out listening, and it's like, wow, that was the best Christmas I'd ever had. Mm-hmm. Seriously. Yeah.
And music's always been a lifetime thing for you too, right? Is there a certain point where you walk along and you turn around, I'm too far in the fucking woods now, there's no going back? Or is it like, this is just what I got to do?
Well, we had a conversation, and every now and then we do a check. If we weren't recording or
what are our options?
What would you do? And I said, I don't know. I'd be
put money in the bank.
I'd be a long-haired Indian on the reservation somewhere with a guitar in my hand. It's just going to end up that way. I'm just 90-some years old. I'm going to be playing. I'm going to be like Mo Flats down in Mississippi. I'm going to be crinkly and old, and it's not going to go away.
No.
And I know that, so I have to grab that. I say, so okay, if one thing goes away, what would I do with it? I'd just play it, just like I did when I was in my room before. I don't think it'll ever stop.
I think for Tommy, it's one of those questions. If you're on a stranded island with one thing, would it be your wife or your guitar? I think I'd lose out.
Why can't I play me both?
I was going to say.
Tell me take his
got
guitar.
curves.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Okay, we want to play your. You got a couple, not really good videos, but there's one really sweet one, and I'm sure there's a great story.
Abigail.
Yeah,
Abigail. Is that the one you're going to?
Yeah.
Yes, Abigail Becker, the heroine of Long Point, or the angel of Long Point. Yep. And Lake Erie.
The shores of Lake Erie.
That's right. And true story. If before I go into the boring story, if you go to Google Abigail Becker, you can read all about the amazing story, and that inspired the song that we wrote. And from there, we wanted to do the video. And Brett Sherman is a kid in our area who was starting to delve into film and TV. And he had just produced this film that was nominated at a film festival in the States. And so through a mutual friend, we were introduced. And so we decided we were all...
Social media guy,
right, Ryan.
Ryan.
And we were all going to do this video together. So we went in November down to Long Point. And I channeled Abigail, and I'm in my bare feet, which you can see in the video.
And it was so warm.
In the water. Oh, it was the coldest day. It was the coldest day.
It's been cold since November 1st here in Ontario.
Yeah.
That wind that you see in there that's blowing on her is not cold. It's not a warm wind.
Not a special effect either.
No.
So, we pretty much channeled the same day. I think Abigail saved these people because the waves were going and it was blowing. But she did this at night where you couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
And we did her video during the day, and I was so proud of her. I said, now that's one tough Canadian girl, because you can't tell that she's freezing her ass off.
She do it. It's like, I'm paying for this twice.
Yeah.
Get the shot once because I'm not doing this again.
Well, here it is, right? The first time at barbershoppodcast.com.
Many are written, the ballads of men, of sailors and storms they have braved. Mine's of a lady, a humble walk of life, and all the shipwrecked lives she saved. They call her the angel of Long Point. Lived in a cabin on Lake Erie shore. Single-handedly rescued a 7-man crew in November of 1854. Abigail, what were you thinking? Waiting chin high through that icy cold lake. Was it fate or an act of compassion? Tell me, what does it take to be a woman of such courage and strength? Quite a tale, Abigail. They say a buffalo schooner had run aground in the night. The crew clung to her side, cold and grim. One by one, Abigail carried them safely to shore on her shoulders, but she couldn't swim. Abigail, what were you thinking? Waiting chin high through that icy cold lake. Was it fate or an act of compassion? Tell me, what does it take to be a woman of such courage and strength? Oh, Abigail. can't imagine it still. Abigail Becker, did you do it afraid? If only you were here to tell. Abigail, what were you thinking? Waiting chin high through that icy cold lake. Was it fate or an act of compassion? Tell me, what does it take to be a woman? Such courage and strength, quite a tale, Abigail.
On the shores of Lake Erie, and you certainly wouldn't know it was minus, well, it was probably not that cold, right?
It was cold. It was cold.
46 degrees Fahrenheit. It was blowing like crazy. Oh man!
Well, we're having so much fun. We're chatting. We're not getting to enough music. So I'm going to get you to set up, and I'm going to spiel a bit, and you're going to do another live song for me. Okay?
Yeah.
I want you, if you've got anything you want to do in the way of printing on any kind of T-shirt, button, mug, anything to promote your band or your business, give my friend Maggie a call or get a hold of her at CanadianArtist.ca.
Yeah, I'm going to switch to the blackout page for you YouTube viewers. Yeah, there it is. HamiltonArtist.ca.
HamiltonArtist.ca. Sorry, Max.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't have an ad set up.
No.
Sorry.
A little bit on the fly.
You get a shout out.
You get a shout out.
Yeah.
Love you, Mags. Thanks for the TV, by the way. Maggie sold me my first flat screen because she had 3 all of a sudden.
It's about time. Yeah. Welcome to modern technology.
One slowly.
Yeah.
I'm a bit cheap when you're poor. When you're poor, it kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
It's on a podcast budget.
All right. So what are you going to give us now?
This is a song called Safer Place. And I know the MS Walk is coming up in a few weeks, and we wrote this for our friend who has MS. And so we want to dedicate it to anyone out there who's just overcoming something. We were talking about that earlier, and it's called Safer Place.
Like I'm fighting on a battlefield. Every day, 1,000 landmines. Sometimes the fear can seem so real. I wonder if I'll make it through this time. There's a danger in giving up, and that's not in me anyhow. I hear you say it really can't hurt that much, but you're not in my skin right now. I just need a safer place. All I need's a safer place to be lying in arms of grace. A safer place. Where this pain has no memory, and I can rest for a while. Where suddenly it all makes perfect sense was all worth every long and wicked mile. I just need a safer place. All I need's a safer place to be lying in arms of grace. Oh. I just need a safer place to be lying in arms of grace. A safer place. I just need a safer place.
Tia McGraff, barbershoppodcast.com, sounding so sweet. And you can see her. You can see her real soon. Tell us again about the Artward Art Bar.
Artward Art Bar next Saturday, April 26th. And then on...
Saturday, April 26th. Now, Artward Art Bar is at James and Coburn, right across from the Armories in Hamilton, Ontario, James Street, north with all of the, happening action and the art and music revival that's happening in Hamilton. And beautiful little place there at Artwood Art Bar.
Lovely, yeah. And Ron and Judith are just the best people.
Yeah, Ron and Judith.
Just sweet.
Yeah. And that's the 26th.
Yeah.
You're in there.
Yeah.
So, and who is it? Just you two?
With Cindy Dell's going to be joining us.
Cindy Dell.
Yes, on fiddle and mandolin. And we're having our special guest up from Colorado, David Starr. And you won't want to miss him. He's just wonderful.
Yeah, it's a wonderful night of original music, and you'll walk out of there floating off the ground.
Yeah,
be sure to do that. And then you've got the gig on May 2nd.
May 2nd with the Acoustics in Brantford.
And Acoustics, of course, also friends of the show. Enzo and Al and the gang.
Yeah,
great original music.
It's a really cool story. We met them. We were both nominated for Hamilton Music Awards this year, and so we were on the same showcase billing together, and so we just hit it off. And when we were done, we were all hanging out and talking, and we said we should do some shows together. So this is the first one. So we're going to see how this goes.
The fruition of it all. And this is what it's about. You meet people,
That's
and
right.
you work with people, and you realize pretty early on you can't do this by yourself.
No.
And so you work with the people, make you feel good, and support you. And musicians, that's why I like them so much. You get the read on them pretty quick.
That's right.
If you're a snake, you don't last very long.
Yeah, yeah. It is about that. I think, especially in independent artists, I think we've got to work together, and so sometimes we'll help other people get gigs, or they'll help us get gigs, and you don't want to work with those people that it's all about me and my piece of the pie, and that gets old. When you have those people that you can share and work with, and you lift each other up, that's to me what makes it all worthwhile.
Awesome. So we've got a CD full of excellent material. It's available off of your website?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
If you buy off an artist's website, they get 100% of the revenue. Okay. That's important. Sometimes people get it off iTunes or CD Baby. That's fine, But if you can go to, and we're going to have Tia's website tagged at barbershoppodcast.com, and it is
tiamcgraff.com. And we have PayPal set up and everything, so you can order, and we'll sign it for you if you want.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, easy peasy. Better yet, come to the show and buy live off stage.
Right off the stage.
Yeah.
There you go. and you'll want to, trust me. So we're going to play Whiskey Sip. Love the sound of the song.
Yeah.
Whiskey Ship?
Yeah, Whiskey Ship. This is about the city of Dresden, another a rum runner. So a true Lake Erie story.
Yes.
Another one. Yeah.
There you go. It's all local right here at barbershoppodcast.com.
This here's a tragic comedy about a whiskey ship, an old decrepit steamer and her final fatal trip. A crafty rum runner during Prohibition, the city of Dresden, bound for Michigan. He loaded her with Corby's best and Captain John McQueen plunged her old bow into Lake Erie. Hey, oh, come and take a sip. Another bottle found from a sunken whiskey ship. Mine, oh mine, so don't you try to stiff my keg of old crow from that sunken whiskey ship. A stormy wind was blowing, but he sailed off anyway. If they could anchor, they'd be safe in Gravelly Bay. But when the gale shifted into a northeast blow, he knew they were in trouble and the cargo had to go. They jettisoned the whiskey, sent a call into the night. A 50-foot wave came and opened up her side. Hey, oh, come and take a sip. Another bottle found from a sunken whiskey ship. Mine, oh mine, so don't you try to stiff my keg of old crow from a sunken whiskey ship. From the point, a watchman had been watching for some time. When the draft came rolling in, he couldn't believe his eyes. Some good old boys from Rowan heard the Dresden's fatal roar.
That could be a whiskey boat!
And ran toward the shore. Kegs and cases trucked and carried, buried in the sand. Mrs. Rockefeller had a bottle in each hand. Hey, oh, come and take a sip. Another bottle found from a sunken whiskey ship. Mine, oh mine, so don't you try to stiff my keg of old crow from that sunken whiskey ship. The crew was saved, all but the captain's son, they say he drowned. And strange how 1,500 barrels and cases, the town folks say, were never found. Huh. When asked, it seems nobody could explain the reason why. It wasn't till late Sunday when the law was notified. Nor could they remember hiding any contraband. But to this day you still might find some treasure in the sand. So raise a glass and sing with me another chorus bout. The night the whiskey ship ran aground. Hey, oh, come and take a sip. Another bottle found from a sunken whiskey ship. Mine, oh mine, so don't you try to stiff my keg of old crow from that sunken whiskey ship. One more time.
Hey, oh, come and take a sip.
Another bottle found from a sunken whiskey ship.
Mine, oh, mine, so
Don't you try to stiff a keg of old crow from a sunken whiskey ship.
Our drunken pirate song at barbershoppodcast.com, don't you know? Oh, the music and the laughs are flowing as they do every week. Tell all your friends about barbershoppodcast.com. It is the bestest, most happening show on the interweb.
Yes, sir.
And it's there forever.
Yes, sir.
You know, you'll never be so young and talented and beautiful.
That's right. Nobody's better than this, Tom.
Yes, I certainly will be.
I am. There's nowhere for me to go but down, brother.
Yeah,
I'm not hitting.
uglier and fatter by the day.
Stop it. Jocularity.
Oh yeah.
So you're gonna play. I've insisted that you play one more live
Time's
song.
been flying.
I know.
Gosh.
This happens when we have fun.
Yeah.
So are you gonna do a ditty?
Okay, we'll do this one. Conductor for a Day, and we wrote this one for my dad. He was sharing stories about when he was a little boy, worked on the rail, or actually would take his bike down, and his friend worked on the rail line there in Simcoe, and so he dreamed of driving the train around, and one day had the opportunity to do it.
Wonderful.
So.
Still love the sound of steel humming on a track. and the smell of coal burning through the stack was 60 years ago. But it feels like yesterday. Then my old man said it was quite a scene. Just a young boy driving old number 919, conductor for a day. I blew the whistle and waved. Now what I wouldn't give, what I wouldn't pay. And my buddy Skip was only 17. Night watchman burning fire for the morning steam. I'd ride my bike across town to watch them shuttle cars around. Dreamed of driving that yard train, conductor for a day. Well, a boy's dreams are often left behind, but there's always one you carry all your life. One morning Skip said, "Johnny, jump on board." The New York Central stopped on 24. Gotta see what slowed her down. Can you drive this engine round? Well, I pushed the throttle and let that whistle blow. And if that track could run clear to Mexico, I'd have driven 919 across the Kansas plains. Yeah, it was 60 years ago, but it feels like yesterday. Well, a boy's dreams are often left behind, but there's always one you carry all your life. He said that CN Rail has long been retired, that if we tried that today, Skip would be fired. These kids don't have it good. So many things are gone. Oh, what I wouldn't give, what I wouldn't pay, to lean my arm out of that train once again. Conductor for a day.
Don't fill your belly with crappy food and don't fill your mind with lousy music. This is the real deal.
Oh, thank you.
It's so good.
Thank you.
So good.
Thank you very much.
It's so good. Such a pleasure to have you here on the show. To quickly wrapping up right away, I want to spin. I'm really enjoying your CD. And I love the fact that you're able to share the songwriting stories, because a lot of people draw their own conclusions, which is sometimes great, you know. But a lot of people really love knowing the story behind the song. So break these chains. You know, there's been many, many songs written in that philosophy. And this, what chains were you breaking when you wrote this?
Oh, geez, all the junk I've been carrying around for years and years and years. You know, whether it be, anger, resentment,
way of thinking,
negative emotions,
just whatever, you know. you know, some people are toxic in your life, you know, and you just need to break those chains. And so it was kind of one of those years, just breaking them all.
A lot of weeding the garden.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah,
that's what we do. That's what we do here at Barber Shop Podcast. We've got a bountiful garden. So thankful for such a thing. Well, we're going to listen to it, and I hope you all break your negative chains right here at barbershoppodcast.com.
Gonna break these chains, gonna let them fall till nothing remains but love, that's all. I've been dragging some demons round, working hard in my sleep, living with fears that keep me down like chains around my feet. But I believe, yes, I believe I'm gonna break these chains, gonna let them fall till nothing remains but love, that's all. Everybody got a box of rocks, heavy with regret. Angry words and jealousy might hold me back, and yet I believe I'm gonna break these chains, gonna let them fall till nothing remains but love, that's all. It's the only thing that matters. Everybody's got a key. Let it open up your heart and be free. Gonna break these chains, gonna let them fall till nothing remains but love, that's all. Gonna break these chains. Wanna be an instrument of peace where there's hatred. Let me sow love, despair, hope, darkness, light, that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be loved as to love, to be loved as to love, as to love. To love, gonna break these chains, let them fall till nothing remains. Gonna break these chains, let them fall. Gonna break these chains, break these chains. Let them fall. Gonna let them fall. Break these chains. Let them fall. Let them fall. Gonna break these chains. Break these chains. Let them fall.
Wonderful piece of music, as it always is. But, well, you know what? I want to thank you guys for coming in. You made my Wednesday awesome once again. Get my smiles. I'm looking forward to tomorrow morning. I got a big trip. Going to go do some business up in Waterloo, and I'm really looking forward to the smile on my face that you've put on there.
Good.
Each and every week. You know, next week's guest is going to be a big surprise, so I'm not even going to let you know who that is.
Super top secret.
Super top secret.
Super top secret.
Super top secret.
Don't wreck the illusion.
Barbershop Podcast each and every week. Yeah. Thanks for coming out.
See you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.